Hi, I'm John Sterman, and I've been asked to say a few words about my dear friends Paul Davidsen and Erling Moxnes. Why? Well, under Norwegian rules, they face mandatory retirement coming up in 2022. That'll be a huge loss for the field of system dynamics, but let's use this occasion, the virtual conference in Bergen 2020, to celebrate all that they've accomplished in their amazing careers. So let's celebrate Paul and Erling. One is tall and shy, the other extroverted and not quite as tall. Here they are at the Bergen System Dynamics Conference in the year 2000. There's Paul. Paul is a publicity hound. You can always find him posing for the camera here with Roberta Spencer, the mayor of Bergen, and Jack Venix. Where's Erling? Well, Erling is shy, so he's always out there doing something else, like participating in some sort of strange Norwegian race that I have no idea what the rules could possibly be. And here's Paul at the New York System Dynamics Conference in 2003. And he's taken many leadership roles in our society, and you can see him there at a meeting of the Policy Council, but mostly he's at wherever there's a camera pointed at folks during the banquets. Erling, however, he's out there talking to people, learning what they're up to, building friendships, and here you can see him at the 2002 conference in Palermo, Sicily. Here's another shot from that wonderful evening. And it looks like they're all just having a lot of fun. But in fact, take a look at their hands. All three of them are just praying Paul would just get out of the limelight and stop talking. So what have they actually accomplished? Well, one of the things they've accomplished is creating one of the most successful, far-reaching graduate programs in system dynamics in the world, the University of Bergen 2-year master's program in system dynamics. And it is also one of the institutions that partnered to create the European Masters in System Dynamics, along with many of our close friends and colleagues. And for you folks from the United States and a few other countries, take a look at this. They not only have this amazing 2-year master's program in System Dynamics, but it is tuition free. Here's a few of their alumni, and here's Paul, Erling, and David Wheat, recently retired from the faculty at UIB, wearing their Christmas sweaters. So while they've been doing this, which is an amazing amount of work, they've also been incredibly productive in research. So here's a list of Paul's recent papers, and you can see him here with some of the folks in system dynamics going way back. But in Norway, it's mandatory that researchers focus on topics of interest to the Norwegian government, and that means oil. So in fact, Paul's 2 first publications in system dynamics were both concerned with the oil industry, work he did with George Richardson and myself. Really terrific work, all due to Paul's great efforts. But it's not enough just to focus on the energy industry. In Norway, you also have to do research on fish, the cod. And in fact, Paul's done that. Take a look at his CV. 2 of his recent publications are all about fish farming, and aquaculture. And that's a good thing, Paul, because, if you don't meet those quotas, they can take away your academic appointment. What about Erling? Well, Erling also worked on cod and fishing and generated this amazing paper that was published in Management Science in 1998, in which he ran an experiment with a fish banks-like setup, but solving the tragedy of the commons by giving every participant in the experiment their own private fjord with their own private fish. And amazingly, he still found, contrary to the theory, that people still overbuilt their fleets and they still overfished, and it was because they didn't understand the dynamic complexity of the feedback system in which they were operating. Well, that paper has had quite an impact and actually led to his being awarded the J.W. Forrester Prize in the year 2000. And it's well worth it for y'all to go back and read his article in System Dynamics Review describing the research path that brought him up to that award-winning work. But he hasn't stopped there. He's kept going with research on renewable resources, including a topic of great interest to every country in the world, reindeer and lichen, the food supply for the reindeer. Well, where did they find the time? Where do Paul and Erling find the time to do all this amazing research, to be teachers in their program, to administer these programs that they've created? Well, and the answer is simple. It rains all the time in Bergen. Bergen is the 10th most rainy city in the world. And here you see a nice day in Bergen downtown. And the website that lists the 7 things to do on a rainy day in Bergen, number 6 is attending the System Dynamics conference. But that's not all. There's something else going on. The Norwegians just don't have enough to do. So what do they spend their time on? Well, the biggest controversy in all of Norway has to do with which way do you stack your firewood? Do you stack it bark up or bark down? I'm not kidding here, folks. And then this led to one of the most popular television shows in all of Norwegian history, which is a show about wood. They're literally watching their wood dry. And if that's not enough excitement, then you can also get out there and you can take a look at the webcam live from the stern of the mailboat that plies up and down the Norwegian coast. Yes, folks, you can get out there and watch the wake of this boat as it goes up and down the fjords. So it's pretty clear the Norwegians just don't have enough to do. And this hasn't been an opportunity for Paul and Erling. They focused on their research. But listen, I don't want to give you the impression that they never have any fun. Erling likes a good cold glass of beer, or öl as they would call it. And, here he is being helped back to Oxford University during our annual conference held there some time ago after a night of pub crawling. Well, never one to pass up the opportunity to turn your avocation into a publishable research topic. Erling then went on and built a management flight simulator about alcohol consumption, which he claims was directed at helping young people learn how to drink responsibly. And what about Paul? Paul likes to party too. You'd never know it, but, well, here's a photo from Paul at the System Dynamics conference in St. Gallen, Switzerland in 2012 at the banquet. And, well, words fail me. So you might think that it's the Norwegians' mandatory retirement rules that are compelling us to celebrate them a couple of years in advance here at the virtual conference in Bergen. But that's actually just a story that they've cooked up. The real reason that they're going to be forced to leave the university, well, they're basically the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid of System Dynamics. And I'm sorry to tell you that the authorities have finally caught up with them. And, well, they'll be spending some time as guests of the Norwegian state in the maximum security prison they have here in Norway. Seriously, folks, let's celebrate the accomplishments of these amazing friends, colleagues, and leaders of our field. Mandatory retirement should not, and I am sure will not, mean that we lose their wise counsel and great contributions to our field. So let's raise a glass for Paul and Erling. Skål!